Welcome back to the Ever Adaptive Podcast. I am your host, Beckie Flowers, and I have my co-host here, Sarahbudzz.
Hey guys.
Gosh,
All
it was
right.
like panic mode.
No, you did great.
Oh my goodness. Well, welcome back, guys. This is episode 3, and today we kind of want to do a little bit of a lighter episode. We hit you with we hit you hard last
Some
week.
deep shit last episode.
We did, but you are still here with us. So thank you for joining us again. And hopefully we can make you laugh in this one, give you some takeaways. We'll probably talk some deep shit in here as well. But keep it a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think on this episode, our kind of goal and plan is to a little bit dive into more of how Beckie and I met originally last year.
Yes.
So we both kind of on a whim went to the Evolve retreat that Emily Hayden hosts a couple times a year. I'm sorry, it just started pouring outside, so if there's background noise, that's why.
Puppy over here.
But that was a very like spur of the moment decision for me to go. Beckie, what was your kind of plan with that? Did you prior plan to go to that, or what was that for you?
So I actually was in Emily's Evolve X course in the end of 2021 and won a free ticket to the retreat. But I was like, it's in Texas. I'm 7 weeks out from my first ever show. I was not going to go. And my husband just booked everything for me because I pretty much was not going to go unless he booked it. So
good work, Joe.
Exactly.
We appreciate you.
Right? Now he's like, what did I do? But yeah, no, it's kind of same here. It was just kind of, we were both meant to be there. And it's pretty cool that we're there.
Yeah. So for me, it was kind of more so, it was very last minute idea for me. So I actually had met Emily in person the first time a month prior at the FitCon in Utah, Salt Lake City. I was working with Transcend there we had a booth set up. And so Emily came and I had met her, and I'd known that she had done these retreats and everything in the past. And it was kind of always like, that would be a cool idea to go, like something cool to go to. But it was really never anything that I like thought I would actually pull the trigger on. And once I actually met her, I was like, I gotta go. Like, hands down, I have to make this happen. There was just something in me that was like, yep, you're doing this. And so I want to say it was probably maybe even a couple of weeks before that I got the ticket, I booked the flight, and I was like, all right, we're doing this. And that's something so out of my comfort zone to do. Like, go to a retreat with a bunch of women that you don't know. And I had even texted Emily, I was like, this is not like, I'm going to be going alone. Like, everyone's coming alone. Like, that's what this is about, like creating a community and, stepping outside of your comfort zone and everything like that. And I was like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
And gosh, I'm so glad that I did, and that I had that just kind of urge to push outside my comfort zone and kind of pursue something like that. So that's how I ended up there. Once it was there, it was a whole whirlwind of things.
It was amazing. But yeah. Same for me. Like, I do not like going into places by myself. So me walking into that, I was so scared. I was so scared. But we can kind of kick it off with meeting each other. I know we kind of met on the first night, kind of talked to everybody, but really I was just so happy to have a hotel room alone to myself. So I kind of dipped out early and went to bed. So I don't remember much from the first night.
The first day, I just kind of remember meeting everyone. And then, did you go to the dinner with us after? I can't even remember.
God, no. I went back to my room and went to bed. I was in bed by like 7:30.
Yeah, like a handful of us went and just grabbed a bite to eat after like the whole introductory thing. That's where I really like met Sarah.
Yeah.
And we kind of did like a reintroduction because Sarah didn't end up at the first thing when we were all there. She was late that day, that at that time. But then we kind of did like a reintroductory thing, and that was kind of it for the night. But then what we did, like morning devotionals. I'm trying to
Mhm.
remember what timeline of the retreat exactly was. We did a bunch of different things.
We
It
really
was such
did.
a cool array of different things having to do with like the morning devotionals. And I mean, everything was optional. We didn't have to do anything. It was just kind of what you were comfortable with or uncomfortable with that you wanted to try. We went to Alpha Land. That was awesome.
Amazing. That's like an adult, like bodybuilder's playground.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's so much
absolutely. And then what we did, the one day we did jujitsu, the
fun.
cold
Mhm.
plunge, breathwork sessions. That was a mentally taxing day.
I agree. The cold plunge, that was the first time I ever did it. And I felt phenomenal after it.
Yeah, it was just like exhilarating.
Yes. Yeah, it was like a high.
Yeah, that was the first time I ever done it too. And honestly, it's something that I guess it was a proper one. I've taken like ice baths, but never like that was a tub full of ice.
Yeah, I exactly. I've done it like in the whatever you would call it in high school, like the sports room,
Mm,
like during track, but I've
yeah,
never put my whole body in there.
yeah.
Have you done one since? Have you done a cold plunge since?
Not a proper one. I
Okay.
should. I definitely should. My body thinks I should for sure.
That's it's same here. I know. I need to do it.
Yeah.
Well, let's start from day 2 because I think that was Alpha Land. But
Yeah.
let's start with those daily devotionals. So every single morning we would meet across the street on the lawn in Houston, and it was super cute. Everyone would meet up and it was optional. You didn't have to be there, but everyone ended up coming. And we just did whatever Emily kind of had on her heart. She would dive into the Bible
Mhm.
and everyone would kind of put their 2 cents in. And
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I took so much away from that um that I didn't expect to take away from it.
100%. I went in really, really open-minded to the entire experience, not really knowing what to expect, not really having expectations, just like, all right, whatever happens and whatever I take away from this, like I'm grateful for. And why I guess we kind of can dive into those devotionals. We'll get a little bit deep into like faith here. I guess what's your history? I know you said that you mentioned on the last episode you were raised into a family that was pretty just in touch with faith and everything like that,
Mhm.
correct?
Correct. Yeah, I was raised in a Christian home. But I had been really struggling for probably all of my 20s and pretty much up until that point. Because I had my son, like I said
Mm,
in the last episode, had my son out of wedlock, then had my daughter out of wedlock. And I was just really struggling with separating the church from faith.
yeah.
And it was just a big inner
Mhm.
struggle for me.
Yeah, I can 100% agree with you on that.
It's big. It's a big thing. And I
It
think a
is
lot of us feel like that.
a 100%. I feel like, and this is just my takeaway from kind of like growing up and I guess my backstory, I was raised pretty religious based, and it was something that I definitely kind of strayed away from at a young age and was kind of just closed off to it because it just felt like there was so many rules. And I was like, I feel like if you're just trying to be a good person, right? And just do good and spread good and just, do the right thing. The religion thing, the church thing, it felt very, I guess, just like kind of clicky to me
Yes.
and judgy almost. And it was something that I didn't really like or feel like I aligned with. And so for the most of my younger years, I had really been closed off to the whole thing. It's like I knew there was something out there that's bigger than us, that's higher than us, it's more powerful than us, that calls the shots, that guides it. But it was kind of just like that's where I kind of left it. And I was very closed off to it for a long time. Quite honestly, probably until about a month before the retreat. And when I was in Salt Lake, we would be at like team dinners, and like I said, Emily was there, a handful of other people who are very in touch with their faith and spiritual, and they would do, like prayer before dinner and everything like that. And we would all join hands, and it was kind of something that I felt this energy for probably the first time that I ever opened myself to paying attention to it. And that's the key, right? Opening
Yeah.
yourself to being receptive of it.
Yes.
And I felt this like energy, and I was just like, all right, noted. Like I'll think on that later. And every time we would do dinner and like join hands and everything, it would be the same thing. I'm like, okay, kind of still just put it in my pocket, like deal with that later. And then really when we were at the retreat is something that I was very taken aback by when it continually happened. And especially with the devotionals in the morning and journaling and the prayer circles that we would do, it was all something very, very new to me. And I was kind of just for the first time really being open to it and receiving that. And I mean, in the prayer circles, I was like, I don't know how to pray. Like,
Yeah.
it was foreign. It was all foreign to me because it was something that I had just been turned off to for so long. And it was very eye opening. And after the retreat, it was definitely something that it was a nugget of something that I took, and I got home and I ordered some more like devotionals, and I would do devotionals like every morning after for quite some time. And it's something that I got out of, but I definitely want to continue just with busyness. And that's, an excuse, right? It's
Yeah.
the more in touch with it you are, the more miracles are going to happen.
Yes.
Honestly, it's just being receptive and open to it, in my opinion. And it's something, like I said, very new to me still, even. But I guess even just with everything that happened with me last year, faith and prayer is something that I very much leaned on just for the guidance. And once you open yourself up to that, there's freaking signs everywhere. It is the most bizarre thing.
Yes.
And just being aware of it to me is something that I'm like, wow, I have missed out on a lot.
It's
And
go ahead.
no, and I kind of beat myself up for that, but I'm very proud of myself for getting to this point of being receptive and open. And it's something that I heavily, heavily rely on now. It's like kind of like we talked about last episode, I think, where it's like you can grip so tight, right? But once you let go and just let things play out as they should, he's got it all figured out already.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to listen.
Yes. That's the scariest part though, is listening. Like you
Yeah.
said, that there are signs everywhere and you can feel him and he will guide your way
Mhm.
if you let him. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's so hard to just like, I don't think that that's going to be the best decision if I go this way. And that scares the crap out of me, like what you went through all last year, but just let it go. And you never know what's going to come from it.
100%. Yeah, that was probably my biggest takeaway from the retreat was that was really just kind of eye opening for me in the whole faith aspect. And it's I would never want to be preachy to anyone or anything like that. It's just something that once I really decided that I would take notice of, it's like there are signs everywhere. And it is so mind boggling to me once you are receptive and accepting of that.
I agree. I agree. For for me too. I think that was the biggest takeaway for myself as well. Um, just opening myself back up to it and the devotionals. And when you were talking about, you could feel like the energy. There's
Mhm.
this Bible verse, and I'm going to misquote it, and I don't know where it's from. So if you guys know, put it in the comments. But it says in the Bible, where two or more are gathered, I am there.
Mm,
So with the prayer circles, like you could feel
it
that
was,
energy.
yes, it
And
was buzzing.
it was magnetic. And for myself, walking out of that then, and then, like I said in the last episode, we lost my 3-year-old nephew literally the day after I got home from that.
Yeah.
If I
Mm,
didn't have that kind of awakening at that retreat, there's
mm,
no way I could have walked through that and helped my
yeah.
family through that.
Yeah. It's
And
crazy timing.
yes, yes, but it really is crazy that you walked through that shitstorm that you did. I had my own personal one, and there were so many people from the retreat that went home to shitstorms, and I don't think that that's by coincidence.
No, no, you're absolutely, I just got chills.
I know. When we were talking about this before the podcast, I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's already buzzing.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I know that we were all there for a reason, whether we knew it or not. And that retreat really equipped us for a lot moving forward. I mean,
Yeah,
I feel like you said, all of us moved forward and a lot of crazy things have happened. And I'm just so grateful to Emily for hosting that and being being a person that creates this space
yeah,
for, you have to be like-minded in some way, right? We all had such different backgrounds, but this like-mindedness of being willing and open to better yourself, however that looks.
yeah,
And that's really what brought us together. And, I mean, even Sarah and I, like, we created such a cool friendship out of that. It's like I've had conversations with Sarah deeper than some of the people that I've known almost all my life, within 2 days of knowing her, 1 day of knowing
I
her.
know you guys were like this. It was amazing.
It was so bizarre. And I feel like we're going to eventually have to have her on here at one point.
Yes. Oh
But
yeah.
and like we'll go into that story of, how Sarah and I kind of clicked. Sarah and I, we both spell our name the same way. We ended up at this retreat at the same retreat in Houston. She originally lives like 30 minutes from me. It's just wild. Her 30th birthday was exactly 1 week after mine. We're both competitors. Like there was just so many similarities, identical similarities. We're like, we were meant to cross paths. And
Hmm.
she is someone whose friendship that I just cherish so much, because she's also a really big reason why I opened up myself up to being, more in touch with faith and spirituality too, because of a lot of the conversations that we had. She's big into that. And I specifically remember one night her and I were sitting in my hotel room, and we were talking about just, opening yourself up to it. And she's like, Sarah, it's like God has always had this space for you. And he's just kind of like, I have this here for when you are going to decide that you are open to it. And that was just like so eye opening. And it's true. It's so
So
true.
true.
He's just waiting for all of us to come to him,
Yeah.
and just let him do what he does.
Hmm.
We can hold as tight as we want, but don't do God's job for him. It doesn't work
Exactly.
out for him,
You're
for
not
you.
equipped to do it.
No, none of us are.
None of us.
And it's really, really wild to kind of come to terms with things like that. And just when you let go and let the universe guide, how much stress that relieves too has been so incredibly, just it's been a whirlwind for me of instead of stressing, it's like, let him handle this. It's going to play out exactly how it needs to be. You know,
Exactly.
just like we both talked about last episode. It's like we are exactly where we need to be.
Yeah.
And it's not by accident.
No, nothing is by accident. Absolutely nothing, which is so damn cool.
Yeah.
And I have to put this guy down. We got a new puppy 2 days ago. And
You didn't introduce him.
oh, sorry. This is Blackjack Whiskey,
No.
BW. And he's actually the sweetest thing ever. I was so mad at my husband for bringing him home because I'm 2 and 4 weeks out. And I'm like, just wait till after prep. And he came home 2 days ago, but he is the sweetest thing. But he's also going to bust himself out of anywhere I put him. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully he just falls asleep.
He seems so calm.
He is calm as long as he doesn't pee. I'm watching him. Just don't pee. All right. I lost my train of thought now.
No, just figuring out that, you know, spirituality and just being open to those things is just so guiding. And
Yeah.
you know, stress relieving, really, that's been it for me, is, you know, falling back on that and just letting go of the idea of, I guess, being attached to your own outcomes that you, I guess, make up in your head, or how you think things should go. It's like
Yeah.
there can be a curveball at any point, and it's all purposeful.
Exactly. Exactly. I agree. I really don't have much to add to that, except that was exactly kind of my takeaways too. It's just letting go. And we've talked about this off podcast, but I have a really hard time with letting go. And it's like second guessing myself all the time and all of that. So really just reminding myself all the time that that is something that he does is beneficial. So if you are like in this mindset too of kind of like trying to find your faith again or struggling with letting go, like just know that it's an ongoing thing. It's not going to be something that you figure out and then it's like, okay, I just let go. Like it is a daily, weekly, hourly thing of, okay, I'm just going to let it be. I'm going to let whatever happens.
Yeah, 100%. What about like the jujitsu, the cold plunge, the breathwork session? How was all of that for you?
Okay, so the breath work, I could not sit still. I am not a breath work girl. We're just gonna put that out there. So that wasn't as impactful for myself as it was for other people. Because again, I think I was wrestling with a lot on that retreat and I did not want to stay quiet. So I think now, a year later, and what's just more life under me and kind of like more openness, I think it would be better now, but I really did not want to stay quiet. The cold plunge though, that it was, like you said, it was electrifying. It was the worst, best thing that I've ever experienced. It's like you feel like you're dying while you're in it, and then you get out. And I was riding a high for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many people that talk about just the benefits of cold plunging beyond recovery, just like for your mental well-being. And I truly believe it. It was, I don't even know. I need to do it more.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. It's like I need to make time to do that
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's hard to like make yourself, you know, it's same thing, putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation, but you know that it's going to be beneficial for you on the other side of it. Uh-oh.
He knocked over my ring light. Gosh. I just put him out there, so hopefully it's fine.
Super mom.
Oh yeah. Dog mom. No, I made my husband pack up all those kids and took him for ice cream. I was like, get them out of here.
Yeah, the breathwork session for me was very impactful. Like I could probably do a whole a whole episode on that, but I it's something that I kind of want to keep for me.
Yeah.
It was very eye-opening. And I honestly, that's the most meditative state that I've ever been in. It was very, 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 it's just weird. It's like I've tried, I guess, like meditating, but I
I was
guess
just gonna ask.
there's a certain, I guess, way to do it, right? It's like you have to actually, like, being talked through it was definitely helpful. Is it working for you?
It is, yeah, you froze
Okay.
for a little bit, but now you're back.
Okay. I might lose power, quite honestly.
It's okay.
um, but yeah, just letting yourself quiet and like drown out any noise and just being so hyper focused on, we did it very guided. So it was like inhale, exhale, and there was mute like a meditative music playing. It was a really wild experience for me.
Yeah.
I would get like full body chills, and then I would be hot, and then my ears would ring, and then like my hands would be sweating, and then like yeah, and I had like
Oh my gosh.
visual. It was wild for me.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I got like deep in it. I woke up and I was like, whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was crazy for me. And
Okay.
that breathwork session, what it was, he said it was like 45 minutes long, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It didn't feel like that after you did it.
It
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 was
did feel like a long time.
okay.
And then because after he did ask, like, how long do you guys think that was? And some people were like, oh, like 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I was like, no, I know it was longer than that.
I was like, that was an hour.
It felt like an hour for sure. But yeah, no, I mean, it was good for me. And then I think we did the cold plunge after
After.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that
Thank
was
God, because that was, I needed to calm my mind after that.
exactly. I feel like that was like
It
purposeful.
was very strategic.
Mm-hmm. And you guys, if you're kind of wondering like what we mean by breath work, I think it was the Winhoff.
Wim
Um,
Hof. Yeah.
and I found there's actually a video on YouTube that I'll try to put that in the captions because it's Winhoff, like he's walking you through one of those
Mhm.
breath work, which coming home and doing that, it does relax you and
Okay, you did
it
it.
yeah, it is really good. So I'll put that in there. But yeah, that was a different experience.
It was different. It was different for sure. It was a lot for me. And everyone kind of had everyone had a different takeaway and a different
Yeah.
experience with that entire breathwork session. Some people, got super deep with it. Some people are just like, meh. It was, I mean, as you can see for both of us, it was polar opposite.
Polar opposite. Yeah.
And then what we had the dinner, the closing night.
Yeah. But let's talk about Alphaland before we wrap this up.
And yeah, yeah.
Okay. If you have not trained at Alphaland and you have the opportunity to, I have a really good friend who lives 5 minutes down the road. And I'm like, why have you not gone? Like, it is an absolute playground. You need to go at least once to check it out
Yeah.
and just see.
Yeah. It's a lot. I don't think I could train there consistently
Oh,
ever.
no.
It's just too much, but it's fun to go and, experience. And it's gigantic. It's
It,
freaking gigantic.
it's like a complex. It
Yeah.
is amazing.
They have
Uh,
like all the storefronts and then the restaurant and every everything you could ever need. Clothes, energy drinks, food.
everything. They have Buff Bunny and Alpha Elite in there. So they have a storefront for both of those. Um, I think they had 3 or 4 gyms.
Yeah, so like you walk into the main gym, which it's like cooled. It's I think a little bit quieter in that one. That one's like more I guess it would be more of like a chain gym kind of
Yeah.
vibe. And then you keep walking and there's like the ramps and then the outside ramps, and then there's like a warehouse style gym, which is I walked in there, I was like, well, this is where I belong.
That's same here.
The garage doors open, bags lined up, a basketball court outside. They had like a whole CrossFit area. the posing room,
Mm-hmm.
and then you continue walking out, and then there's like tires and like kind of like jungle gym type stuff, and then a whole nother gym back there too,
Yeah.
which was still just kind of like the bodybuilding warehouse style vibe.
Yeah, it
um
was just smaller.
yeah, it was
And that
awesome.
was a year ago. Who knows what's been added since then?
Right. Yeah.
But that was probably my favorite part of the whole retreat, just because I live in a town of 600 people. I drive 30 minutes to my gym, which is like it's kind of like that warehouse style, which I
Mhm.
absolutely love. But to be able to like see a massive gym like that, like I was a kid in a candy store. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
it was. Did you hear that?
No.
So there's a storm. It's insane outside right now.
Oh gosh. As long as the tornado doesn't come, knock on wood.
Usually when it gets to you, like you would hit it first. So I
We got
usually
it
get
last
the
night. So
residual
yeah,
weather after Chicago area.
we got a decent storm last night. So, but you know what? Our farmers need rain. That's how you
Yeah.
know you live in farmland. We're talking about rain, and then we got it last night, and we're all happy.
But yeah, anything else that you wanted to touch on from the retreat?
I think so. I feel like I walked out of that a different woman.
Yeah.
I felt so insecure, unconfident, not sure of myself. And I feel like that retreat set me up for this next year of growth that I went through
Mm.
of just, this is me, bitch. We're either
Yeah.
going to take it or leave it. And if you leave it, cool, like no hard feelings, but cool.
I would definitely say the same. It was very eye-opening in a lot of ways. And like you said, we were all there for a reason and got a certain takeaway from it because we all experienced something really crazy after the fact. And I definitely needed to go through that and experience all of that and get in touch with the things that I've been out of touch with for so long to be equipped to handle everything moving forward with everything last year.
Yeah.
And I mean, even, to this day, there's things that I look back on and I'm like, yep, that was, that was something that I didn't really see a significance in then, but it's very useful to this day, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm just always so grateful for Emily to create that space and just share because she's just such an in touch with herself person and share that side, and it wasn't all that, that we had fun nights where we played like heads up for like 3 freaking hours in the hotel lobby.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah. And then they were like doing salsa dancing across the
in the
way.
park. Yeah.
Yeah. We just all went there and
Yeah.
pretended we could
Yeah.
dance.
And then like the last night we like went out to bars after the dinner. So it
Yeah.
wasn't all like intense. It was a lot of fun too.
It was fun.
And we all walked away with connections that are definitely going to last a very, very long time that I'm very
Yeah.
grateful for.
I
So,
agree. Yeah. All of us really still talk, which is amazing.
yeah. Yeah, I love like keeping up with things. And I know that I made it a goal to go visit Sarah because she's out in Washington now. So I want to go out there and just see that whole side of the country because I haven't, other than like Southwest.
I
But
haven't either,
yeah,
but you need
north,
to.
yeah, it's beautiful. Just from like all of her videos and pictures, I'm like, I need to make it out there.
Yes. Get out of the Midwest,
Yeah,
explore.
yeah.
But
Well,
hopefully that wasn't too deep for you guys. We definitely want to sprinkle in some more of these lighthearted talks because we do have a tendency to go really deep on a lot of things. And I know we'll bring in more fitness things and just a whole bunch of we have a whole list of notes for you guys for future episodes. But
yeah.
first, you know what, before we go, we have to tell them how we left each other and
Oh
what
my God.
really solidified our friendship. So the last night, just a little backstory. So I don't travel by myself. I don't think I had traveled by myself since before I had my son. So I really did not know what I was doing. And then I'm going into this new state, never been to Texas. I don't Uber. Like I said, I come from a town of 600 people. We don't have that out here. So I set up this car service to pick me up.
Let me interrupt you really quickly, just because this is very important. We both were flying out of an airport that was so far from the hotel, and everyone else was flying out of an airport that was a lot closer,
Yeah.
right? And we were the only ones, and it was like so early in the morning on the last day.
It was like 3 in the morning that we had to leave. So we're like two girls, 3 in the morning, alone in Texas, have to go at least 45 minutes to this airport. And so I had this car service. And so we were talking, and I was like, yeah, just come in my car. It's no big deal. Well, the car's not there. And it's getting to the point where, like, okay, where are you? So I call the company and I'm like, it's 3:30 in the morning. No one's going to answer. They answer. My driver got into an accident.
I forgot.
And now we're like, oh shit, I don't even have Uber. I don't know how this shit works. Luckily Sarah was there, because then she like knew what she was actually doing. Got us an Uber. This crazy man drove us to the airport, and we're at different gates, different.
Wait, prior to that, when he finally got there, because it definitely took probably 2 times as long, he's like, oh, I had to stop for gas.
Yeah. At 3:30 in the morning. Okay.
Yeah. Like, you couldn't have picked a different time for this.
Yeah. Yeah. It was strange. I was a little scared that we were going to get kidnapped, to be honest.
It was a little bit of that. And then I was definitely very, very cutting it real close to,
You were
yeah,
running through that.
I was running, and I was almost late. I was almost late to my flight. I almost missed my flight. I was like, I was literally looking at other flights. Like, I'm going to have to rebook my flight. There's no way that I'm going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow, by the grace of God, I made it.
Exactly. Another sign.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's definitely what solidified it. And I think we both texted each other. Our flights were probably around the same time, if I remember correctly. And we texted each other that we were like, both were like boarded or something like that. And then I remember you like sent me like $5 on Venmo. You're like, get a coffee. Like,
Yes. I felt so bad because I had this car and I was like, yeah, I got my shit together. I did not.
It was insanity at such an early hour in the morning. I still have that picture that we took. I think we were waiting for the original car.
Oh yeah, we were. Yeah, yeah.
It was wearing the same shirt too.
We were. It was great. But we made it. We made it home.
Yeah.
And hopefully that never happens again. I get so nervous now. Like, I'm at that airport by like 2 hours early.
Minimum.
Because they're gonna have to go through all my food.
Right.
But
yeah.
All right. Well, anything else?
No, that was good.
All right. Well, hopefully you guys got some takeaways from that. Let us know anything that you would want to hear about, or any little tidbits that you got from this. And make sure that you follow us on Instagram at Ever Adaptive Podcast. And my personal Instagram is beckie.flowers.
Mine is Sarahbudzz, Budzz. Give us a follow along. We're going to be pretty consistent with these episodes. I think we're releasing every Wednesday. So stick along for the ride. It's going to be an array of different things that we touch on. So, super versatile, and hopefully, a message and some value. So
Exactly. All right. We'll see you next week, guys.
bye, guys.
Bye.